there stood a quiet little ranch. A place built on hope. A place where a man named John Marston tried to leave the past behind. But some things do not stay buried. Little John had a watch, a rather special one, though he did not yet know just how special it truly was. Each day he worked the ranch from sunrise to dusk, and every evening the family gathered around the table for supper. But one night Little John noticed something strange. The watch changed for about 3 minutes after dinner. Something moved within it, something that was never there before. And so the question became, where should he go? What was he supposed to do? Well now, that is exactly what we are here to find out.
After investigating the clocks marked with 13 instead of 11, and their connection to the Reutlinger watch and the spiderweb mystery, my path eventually led to the end of the story, Beecher's Hope. There's one of these clocks in Jack's room, and another in John and Abigail's bedroom. On its own, that doesn't mean much. But there's an unresolved mystery here that has remained unsolved for years. And solving it might finally open a path toward understanding the spiderweb mystery itself. At the center of all this is the Reutlinger Pocket Watch. Once the daily chores are finished, the family dinner option becomes available. The reason I believe something hidden may be happening here is because the entire sequence is incredibly specific and reproducible, which makes it the perfect foundation for an investigation.
Cannot believe we're sleeping in a house. A house we own. Just so goddamn strange.
Nice strange or nasty strange?
That's strange. Very nice.
At the ranch, everything begins as usual. You wake up in the morning, and the work starts immediately. You chop wood, stack hay bales, bring water to the animals, clean the barn, and feed the chickens. But based on everything I've observed so far, there are two specific tasks that seem to trigger the chain reaction: the milk and the eggs. After feeding the chickens, you can load the eggs onto the wagon. And once the cow has been milked, the milk must also be loaded up. If you sell both of these items, the game automatically advances the clock to 4 p.m., and Abigail calls everyone to dinner.
If you're hungry, there's food.
For the most part, dinner always unfolds the same way. You sit down at the table, and the others slowly join you. Abigail stands up first, then Jack leaves, and Uncle is always the last to go. I don't know if any of that is connected to the mystery, but the moment you stand up from the table and look at the Reutlinger, something changes. Its name suddenly appears at the center of the watch, while small white lights at the outer edge. The effect lasts for roughly 3 minutes, and if you leave the ranch property, it disappears. Not immediately. The distance seems to vary slightly each time. But in every test so far, the effect has always faded before the full 3 minutes pass. After completing the ranch chores and finishing dinner, a countdown appears to begin. Years ago, people theorized that these 3 minutes might be a window of time meant to lead us somewhere. And because the Reutlinger's lights fade when we move too far beyond the fence line, I believe something changes within the ranch itself. Or perhaps something becomes visible, something we're supposed to find and interpret. So what do you think is happening during those 3 minutes? Let me know in the comments. While examining the house and the surrounding buildings, I started noticing several unusual details. Jack's room contains an incredible amount of small objects. 4 rabbit's feet, a globe containing a compass, even a magnifying glass. That last detail especially caught my attention, because outside of the strange man's cabin, you almost never see one. Maybe it's a visual clue, a subtle suggestion that this place should be examined carefully, piece by piece. But the most interesting discovery was inside John and Abigail's bedroom. Above the fireplace, hidden behind the painting, there's a small door. You can even see the hinges, and it isn't fully closed. At first, I assumed it had to be intentional. Maybe it concealed something important. But during the 19th century, so-called chimney closets or chimney cupboards were actually common. They were used to keep food warm or store clothing and bed linens. Of course, that still doesn't rule out the possibility that something could happen here if we ever discover where the Reutlinger is leading us. Another detail worth mentioning is the connection between Abigail and the Squirrel Statue. After completing the taxidermist missions, Ms. Hobbs rewards you with a stuffed squirrel. If you place it above the fireplace, Abigail hides it from you. You'll eventually find it again in different locations throughout the house and outside the ranch. But the final location is what truly matters, because it connects this entire story to the sundial and Mount Shan. The statue can ultimately be found at the highest point of the mountain, the exact same location where the UFO can be seen. So what do you think? Could this all be connected? Or is it simply meant to be one final scavenger hunt? The books found throughout the game could easily deserve a separate video of their own. But when it comes to this mystery, there are 3 in particular that caught my attention. Even their titles feel eerily similar to one another, and that alone is already interesting. All 3 stories revolve around the same core motifs: an isolated castle, distant landscapes, and a strange, difficult to describe melancholy. The structure of the stories feels unusually repetitive, almost as if the same narrative is being retold in different forms. Several lines and descriptions nearly mirror each other across all 3 books, which raises an interesting possibility. Maybe these aren't traditional novels at all. Maybe they're intentionally constructed patterns. The themes of passing time, waiting, and unreachable places appear constantly throughout the texts. And after comparing them side by side, the similarities became almost impossible to ignore. So I started focusing on the differences instead, hoping that some kind of clue would eventually emerge. So far, I haven't found any concrete evidence. But it still leaves one important question. Do these 3 books actually hide something? Or were they simply designed to make us search for patterns where none truly exist? What do you think?